Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. It's a great privilege to speak to you about something that touches us all: self-improvement. We live in a world obsessed with quick fixes, superficial solutions, and magic formulas for success. But the real secret to self-improvement is not hidden in a glossy brochure or an inspirational quote. It lies in something deeper, something more foundational. And it begins with a single, often uncomfortable truth: responsibility. Responsibility, that's the first key. The real secret to improvement starts with taking full responsibility for your life. The way you are, the way things are, the outcomes you've achieved, and the circumstances you face, they are the result of the choices you've made. Yes, life can be unfair. Yes, you might have had setbacks that weren't your fault. But that's not the point. The point is this: you have the power to choose how to respond to every situation you face. You can take ownership of your actions, your decisions, and your destiny. And that, more than anything else, is where true improvement begins. This brings us to the second point: discipline. Discipline is the force that transforms intention into reality. We all have aspirations, dreams, and goals, but without discipline, they are nothing more than wishful thinking. Discipline is the daily act of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early, it's doing the hard work when it's uncomfortable, and it's staying committed when distractions beckon. Without it, you may have the desire, but you will lack the substance to carry it through. And yet, life will throw chaos your way. And that leads to the third point: confronting chaos. Life isn't neat or predictable. It's messy. It's unpredictable. It's full of struggles, both internal and external. But if you are ever to improve, you must stop avoiding the chaos. You must face it head on. And more importantly, you must choose to act in the face of it. The path to self-improvement is not found in the absence of struggle, but in how you navigate through it. The chaos will always be there, but growth comes when you choose to engage with it instead of running from it. The fourth point builds on this idea: incremental change. We are conditioned to expect dramatic transformations overnight, but real progress is rarely that glamorous. It is made in small, almost imperceptible steps. Every day, try to be slightly better than you were yesterday. This doesn't mean making drastic changes all at once. It means improving one aspect of your life, every day, however small. And over time, those small changes accumulate into something far greater than you could have imagined. Now, here's the thing: people often chase happiness, believing that it is the ultimate goal. But that's the fifth point: meaning is more important than happiness. Happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes, and if you chase it without understanding your deeper purpose, you'll always find yourself unfulfilled. Meaning, however, is something that can anchor you through life's storms. When you pursue something meaningful, whether it's building a career, fostering relationships, or contributing to society, it brings a depth to your life that happiness alone cannot offer. Seek meaning, and happiness will follow as a byproduct, not as the end goal. Which brings us to the sixth point: clear goals. Without a vision, you are lost. The importance of setting clear, actionable goals cannot be overstated. Goals give you direction. They clarify your intentions, and they hold you accountable to your own growth. Without goals, you are like a ship drifting in an ocean without a map. You may move, but you will never reach your destination. So set your course and adjust it when necessary, but always know where you are headed. The seventh key is self-awareness. To improve, you must know yourself. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of all growth. It's about understanding your strengths and weaknesses, your desires and fears, your patterns and behaviors. Without reflection, you cannot change. It's only when you look honestly at yourself, with all your flaws and all your potential, that you can begin to chart a course toward improvement. And yes, this requires brutal honesty and often discomfort. But that discomfort is the very soil in which growth takes root. Finally, the real secret to self-improvement lies in adversity. We live in a society that often seeks to avoid hardship. But the truth is, adversity is your ally. Challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities to grow. Without them, you would stagnate. The most transformative growth comes not from the easy times, but from the difficult, painful, and uncertain moments. Every challenge you face is an invitation to become stronger, to learn, and to evolve into someone better than you were before. So, what is the real secret to self-improvement? It's not a shortcut. It's not an easy answer. It's responsibility, discipline, facing chaos, embracing incremental change, seeking meaning over happiness, setting clear goals, cultivating self-awareness, and using adversity as the crucible in which you are forged. If you commit to these principles day by day, moment by moment, you will not only improve, you will transform your life. And when you do, you will be able to offer something real to the world, something that is truly worthwhile. Because true improvement isn't just about becoming better for yourself. It's about becoming better so you can help others, so you can contribute, so you can leave a legacy that is far greater than any fleeting personal success. The foundation of self-improvement lies in one fundamental concept: personal responsibility. It is the bedrock upon which all other forms of growth are built. Far too often, people look to external factors for the cause of their difficulties or the reason they haven't achieved their goals. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, the economy, or the people around them. But to truly improve, you must first recognize that you, and only you, are responsible for the state of your life. This doesn't mean that external factors don't play a role. Life is unpredictable, and there are indeed circumstances that can be beyond our control. However, the choice you make in response to these circumstances is always yours. You can decide how you will act, how you will think, and how you will persevere in the face of adversity. Accepting responsibility means acknowledging that your actions, decisions, and attitudes have a profound impact on the outcomes you experience. Responsibility requires the courage to look inward and ask difficult questions. What role did I play in this situation? How have my choices contributed to where I am today? Am I truly doing everything I can to change my circumstances? These questions may not always yield comfortable answers, but they are the gateway to profound personal growth. To take responsibility is to accept that you have the power to change your life, regardless of how challenging your current reality may seem. One of the most powerful things about personal responsibility is that it puts you in control. When you realize that you have the ability to shape your life through your own choices, you gain a sense of agency. This is empowering. It allows you to stop waiting for external forces to change or for the stars to align perfectly. It eliminates the excuse-making mentality that so often keeps people stuck in their current circumstances. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" or "What did I do to deserve this?" you begin to ask, "What can I do to change this?" Responsibility also means taking ownership of your own well-being emotionally, mentally, and physically. It is easy to fall into the trap of blaming others for how we feel, especially in relationships or in the workplace. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong, to blame a lack of opportunity, or to focus on others' shortcomings. But true growth happens when we stop pointing outward and begin to look inward. No one else is responsible for your happiness, your success, or your peace of mind. You are. This doesn't mean that you should be blind to the help and support others offer. In fact, acknowledging the help of others is also part of responsibility. But it does mean recognizing that it is your responsibility to make the most of those opportunities. No one else can live your life for you. No one can make the choices that will shape your future. You have to take that responsibility for yourself. Moreover, accepting responsibility involves confronting your mistakes. Every person makes them, and that's not a reason to be paralyzed by guilt or regret. It is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to correct your course. Mistakes are not permanent markers of failure, they are stepping stones toward improvement. The key is not to deflect blame, but to accept the lesson they offer. In this way, taking personal responsibility is not just about controlling your actions, it's about developing the mindset that empowers you to take charge of your life. This shift in perspective changes how you interact with the world. Instead of viewing life as something that happens to you, you begin to see it as something you are actively participating in, with the ability to steer it toward the direction you choose. This is the essence of true self-improvement. It's not about waiting for the world to change for you, it's about changing your approach and taking ownership of your part in the process. Discipline is often seen as a burdensome necessity or a rigid requirement, but it is, in reality, the backbone of any genuine effort towards self-improvement. Discipline is the act of consistently choosing to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to set aside immediate gratification and focus on long-term goals. Without discipline, no amount of talent, intelligence, or ambition will carry you to the results you desire. It is discipline that transforms intentions into actions, and actions into tangible outcomes. At its core, discipline is about commitment to your goals, your values, and your purpose. In a world filled with distractions, where gratification is often just a click away, maintaining discipline becomes even more crucial. It is so easy to procrastinate, to put things off for another day, or to fall into the trap of doing what feels good in the moment instead of what is truly productive. Yet, self-improvement is not about occasional bursts of effort or intermittent periods of focus. It is about the sustained application of effort over time. And that effort is driven by discipline. The most important aspect of discipline is its consistency. It's easy to commit to something for a day or a week, but it's the ability to keep going when motivation fades that truly separates those who improve from those who stagnate. Discipline doesn't rely on motivation, it creates its own momentum. By setting up routines and habits, discipline takes away the need to constantly make decisions about whether or not you'll take action. Instead, you simply do. You rise early, you work, you practice, you show up. And by consistently applying yourself, over time you begin to see real results. One of the biggest challenges to discipline is overcoming the temptation to take shortcuts. Many people want to see quick results without putting in the work. They want to believe that there is a magic formula or an easy path to success, but the truth is that success is earned through hard, disciplined work. This means putting in the hours, grinding through discomfort, and persevering when things seem difficult. The results may not come immediately, but they will come. The key is to trust in the process, to know that consistent effort will eventually pay off. Discipline also involves self-regulation. It's about making the right decisions even when no one is watching. It's the small choices you make daily, choosing to eat healthier, choosing to read instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, choosing to work when distractions try to pull you away. These small, seemingly insignificant choices build up over time and create the foundation for lasting change. If you can master these small moments of discipline, you will find that your ability to tackle bigger challenges becomes much easier. Furthermore, discipline isn't about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when you fail to maintain your routine, when you let distractions take over, or when motivation is nowhere to be found. And that's okay. What matters is how you respond. The disciplined person isn't perfect, they simply understand that consistency is more important than perfection. They don't let a single setback derail them from their goals. Instead, they pick themselves up, learn from the experience, and continue to move forward. The ability to be disciplined is also tied to clarity of purpose. When you know what you want and why you want it, it becomes much easier to stay disciplined. The clearer the vision, the more compelling the reason to stick to your commitments. When the temptation to stray comes, your sense of purpose will keep you anchored. Discipline, in essence, is the tool that helps you keep your eyes on the prize, even when the journey becomes long and difficult. Ultimately, discipline is a choice to commit to something greater than momentary pleasure, a choice to endure discomfort for the sake of a better future. And it is this consistent, focused effort that leads to transformation. Self-improvement is not an event, it's a process, and that process is driven by discipline. It is through discipline that you develop the habits, the mindset, and the resilience necessary to become the person you aspire to be. Without it, all your ambitions remain just that, dreams. With discipline, they become reality. Life, by its very nature, is chaotic. The world is unpredictable, complex, and full of challenges, many of which are beyond our control. Yet to truly improve ourselves and make progress, we must learn not only to accept this chaos, but also to confront it head-on. It is in facing chaos, both external and internal, that the most profound growth occurs. When you choose to engage with life's unpredictability, instead of running from it, you begin to unlock the potential for transformation. Confronting chaos means recognizing that life will never be neat or orderly. There will always be unforeseen obstacles, unexpected failures, and moments when things don't go according to plan. This could mean the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or the failure of a personal project. But it could also mean facing deeper internal chaos, fear, doubt, and uncertainty about your direction in life. These moments are inevitable, they are part of the human experience. But instead of seeing them as hindrances to progress, we must view them as opportunities for growth. The key to confronting chaos is not to avoid or deny it, but to lean into it with courage and resilience. The first step is to acknowledge that chaos exists and that it will affect you. The danger lies in pretending that everything will be easy or predictable. By accepting that there will be times of turmoil, you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the challenges ahead. This mental preparation is crucial because it allows you to act with clarity and purpose when chaos inevitably arises. Rather than panicking or feeling helpless, you approach the situation from a place of strength and awareness, knowing that while you cannot control the world around you, you can control how you respond to it. One of the most significant aspects of confronting chaos is facing your own fears. Fear often arises in the face of uncertainty, and it is in these moments of fear that growth becomes most apparent. Instead of avoiding the uncomfortable feelings that fear brings, confront them. Fear is not something to be eliminated, but something to be understood and worked through. The most successful individuals, those who truly improve themselves, are not those who live without fear, but those who act in spite of it. Fear, when managed correctly, can become a powerful motivator to push you forward, to take action even when it feels unsafe. Another aspect of confronting chaos is developing resilience. Life will throw curveballs your way, and it's not a question of if, but when. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after setbacks, to stay focused and determined even in the face of adversity. Resilient individuals understand that failure is a part of the process, and that success is not defined by how often you avoid failure, but by how often you rise after it. This ability to stay strong in difficult times is not an inherent trait, it is something that can be cultivated over time through consistent effort and a commitment to growth. Every challenge you face and overcome strengthens this resilience, making you more capable of navigating the next challenge with greater ease and confidence. Confronting chaos also involves confronting the unknown. Life is full of uncertainties, and no amount of planning or preparation can shield you from that reality. However, by learning to embrace uncertainty, you open yourself up to new possibilities. The unknown can be a source of tremendous fear, but it can also be a source of discovery. In the unknown, you can find new paths, new opportunities, and new strengths that you didn't know you possessed. The key is not to shrink away from these uncertainties, but to see them as the fertile ground where personal growth can flourish. In a world that often seeks to avoid discomfort, those who confront chaos head-on stand out. Rather than running from life's difficulties, they face them with courage, resilience, and a willingness to adapt. It is through this process of engagement, of leaning into the unknown and learning from adversity, that true self-improvement occurs. When you confront chaos, you transform it from a force of destruction into a tool for growth, making yourself stronger, wiser, and more capable in the process. The notion of incremental change is often overlooked in a society that promotes quick fixes and immediate results. Yet, true and lasting self-improvement is not achieved through dramatic, overnight transformations. Instead, it is built on the consistent, incremental changes we make in our daily lives. Small, seemingly insignificant steps, when taken regularly, accumulate to create profound shifts over time. This principle is the cornerstone of sustainable growth and is vital to anyone who seeks real improvement. At the heart of incremental change is the idea of progress over perfection. Many people become discouraged because they do not see immediate results or because their efforts feel insignificant in the moment. It's easy to become disillusioned when we expect fast, visible transformations and instead encounter slow, steady progress that seems almost imperceptible. However, what matters is not the speed of change, but the consistency of your efforts. The compound effect of daily small actions is often far more powerful than a few bursts of intense but unsustainable effort. The key to embracing incremental change is developing patience and persistence. Improvement takes time, and expecting quick results sets us up for disappointment. If you want to get fitter, you don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Instead, start by incorporating small, sustainable habits, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking for 15 minutes a day, or reducing unhealthy snacks gradually. These actions may seem small, but over time they add up. What you're doing is creating a foundation for long-term change, and with each small step, you are reinforcing a new way of thinking and acting. Slowly, these actions become second nature, and before you know it, you've achieved something that would have seemed impossible if you had tried to force immediate transformation. Incremental change also involves building habits that serve as the scaffolding for larger goals. It's not about making drastic changes, but about creating systems that will support your growth over time. For example, instead of trying to write a novel in a week, commit to writing just 500 words a day. In a month, you will have 15,000 words. Over a year, that could lead to a finished manuscript. The same principle applies to any endeavor. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving relationships, or advancing in your career, incremental change allows you to make progress without overwhelming yourself. Another critical element of incremental change is the ability to course correct. Often, when we set out on a path of self-improvement, we encounter setbacks or realize that our initial approach isn't working. This can be discouraging, but it's important to remember that small adjustments are part of the process. You are not locked into one method or one way of doing things. It's essential to reflect on your progress, assess what's working and what's not, and make minor changes. This flexibility ensures that you're always moving forward, even if it's in a slightly different direction. Progress doesn't always come in a straight line. It often comes in small, incremental steps with occasional detours along the way. One of the most powerful aspects of incremental change is its ability to build momentum. When you start small, it's easy to get discouraged, as the results might seem far away. But over time, as you accumulate small victories, you start to gain confidence. You begin to trust the process, and the small wins give you the motivation to keep going. This growing sense of accomplishment becomes its own driving force. What once seemed like a distant, unreachable goal becomes more achievable with each passing day. The key is to keep moving, even when the progress feels slow. Eventually, the sum of all those small steps will lead to a significant transformation. Incremental change also teaches resilience. When you make small adjustments and face setbacks, you learn not to expect perfection but to embrace progress. Each failure becomes a learning opportunity rather than a defeat. You understand that setbacks are part of the journey and that the key to overcoming them is persistence, not perfection. In this way, incremental change not only leads to tangible improvements but also cultivates a mindset that values growth, learning, and patience. Ultimately, incremental change is the most sustainable and effective path to self-improvement. It's not about making huge leaps or setting yourself up for disappointment by expecting instant results. It's about showing up consistently, making small but meaningful changes, and trusting that these small actions taken over time will lead to profound transformation. Through this steady process, you develop the habits, discipline, and resilience necessary to achieve your goals and continue growing in all areas of your life. In our pursuit of personal growth and fulfillment, many of us become fixated on the idea of happiness. Society often presents happiness as the ultimate goal, the end result of a successful life. It is something we are encouraged to seek, something that we believe will solve all of our problems and make everything worthwhile. However, the truth is that happiness, while valuable, is not the most important pursuit in the process of self-improvement. What is far more essential is meaning. Meaning provides depth, direction, and purpose, whereas happiness is fleeting and often dependent on external circumstances. Meaning, on the other hand, offers something far more profound. It anchors us, gives us something to strive for, and helps us navigate through difficult times. When we focus on pursuing meaning, we are working towards something that transcends our momentary emotional states. Meaning can come from a variety of sources: a sense of purpose in our work, the deep bonds we form with others, or the contribution we make to our community or the world. It is rooted in values, personal integrity, and the pursuit of something greater than ourselves. One of the most significant benefits of pursuing meaning is that it provides us with a sense of direction. When we chase happiness, we often become reactive, driven by whatever feels good in the moment. But meaning forces us to be proactive. It encourages us to identify what is truly important to us, what aligns with our values, and what we want to contribute to the world. This creates a roadmap for our lives, something that guides us even when we feel uncertain or lost. Happiness might be an elusive feeling, but meaning gives us something concrete to hold on to, even in the toughest of times. The pursuit of meaning also leads to a more fulfilling life in the long run. While happiness is often a byproduct of pursuing meaning, it is not the end goal. Instead, meaning encourages us to build a life that is rich in depth, character, and purpose. It is through meaning that we create legacies, make significant contributions, and leave a lasting impact on others. We might not always feel happy during the process, but we know we are working towards something that is meaningful to us, and that provides a deeper satisfaction than fleeting moments of happiness ever could. Furthermore, when we pursue meaning, we are not solely focused on ourselves. The pursuit of meaning often leads us to serve others, to contribute to something larger than ourselves. Whether through work, relationships, or community engagement, meaning often involves connecting with others and contributing to their well-being. This sense of contribution can be incredibly rewarding, as it shifts our focus away from personal gain and toward the greater good. Happiness, in contrast, tends to be more self-centered, seeking to fulfill personal desires or emotional states, but meaning encourages us to transcend our own needs and reach for something greater. Ultimately, while happiness is a natural and valuable part of life, it should not be the sole focus of our self-improvement efforts. Meaning provides the depth and foundation that happiness alone cannot offer. It is meaning that will guide us through the difficult moments, give us purpose in our daily lives, and help us create something of lasting value. When we prioritize meaning over happiness, we set ourselves on a path of deeper fulfillment, one that leads to true growth, resilience, and a sense of purpose in everything we do. Self-doubt is a pervasive force in many people's lives, and it can act as a barrier to progress and personal growth. It whispers in our minds, telling us we are not good enough, that we'll fail, or that our goals are out of reach. This internal critic can be paralyzing, making us hesitant to take risks, pursue dreams, or even try something new. However, the truth is that self-doubt is not inherently negative. While it can be debilitating if left unchecked, it can also be a powerful catalyst for growth and improvement when we learn how to manage it. The first step in overcoming self-doubt is understanding that it is a natural part of the human experience. Everyone experiences self-doubt at some point, whether it's in the form of imposter syndrome when taking on new responsibilities, questioning your abilities after a failure, or feeling uncertain about a major life decision. What matters is not that you feel doubt, but how you respond to it. Embracing the fact that self-doubt is a common feeling allows you to distance yourself from it, seeing it as just another part of the process rather than something to fear or avoid. Self-doubt, in its most constructive form, can act as a signal that you are stepping outside your comfort zone and challenging yourself to grow. It often emerges when you are pushing your boundaries, taking on something that feels difficult or unfamiliar. This is the moment when growth occurs. It's easy to doubt yourself when you are striving towards something new, but instead of letting doubt stop you, you can use it as a tool to motivate you to prepare better, learn more, and push through the discomfort. Self-doubt is an indicator that you are in the process of expanding your capabilities, and by embracing it rather than shrinking from it, you can turn it into a source of strength. One of the most powerful ways to overcome self-doubt is through action. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of overthinking, endlessly analyzing the possibilities and pitfalls of a situation. However, the more we analyze, the more room we give for doubt to take hold. The antidote to this is to take action, even if that action is small. When you begin to act in the face of self-doubt, you break the cycle of indecision and start to build confidence. Every small step you take, whether it's making a phone call, writing a few lines of a project, or having an uncomfortable conversation, helps diminish the power of self-doubt. Over time, these actions accumulate and your confidence begins to grow as you realize that you are capable of handling the challenges you face. Additionally, it's important to reframe self-doubt as a learning opportunity rather than a sign of inadequacy. Often we view doubt as a reflection of our limitations, something that confirms our perceived lack of ability. In reality, self-doubt can be an invitation to learn and improve. When you doubt yourself, it is a reminder to assess your skills, gain new knowledge, or seek advice from others. Instead of letting it hold you back, use it as a prompt to expand your abilities. When you approach doubt from this perspective, it no longer becomes a barrier, but a signal that there is always room for growth. Another key strategy in managing self-doubt is to surround yourself with positive influences. The people we spend time with can either amplify or diminish our self-doubt. By seeking out individuals who uplift, support, and encourage us, we create an environment where self-doubt is counterbalanced by affirmation and constructive feedback. This doesn't mean relying solely on others to build your self-worth, but having a network of people who genuinely want to see you succeed can help remind you of your strengths and potential, even when doubt creeps in. At times, having someone who believes in you can be the key to breaking free from the grip of self-doubt. Self-doubt also often arises from comparing ourselves to others. It's easy to look at someone who seems more successful or accomplished and feel inadequate. However, comparison is rarely productive because it overlooks the unique challenges and experiences that each person faces. Instead of measuring your worth against someone else's journey, focus on your own progress. Celebrate the steps you've taken and the improvements you've made, no matter how small they seem. When you start to measure your success by your own standards, you begin to see your value independent of external benchmarks. Finally, developing a mindset of self-compassion is essential in overcoming self-doubt. Many of us are our harshest critics, holding ourselves to unrealistically high standards and beating ourselves up when we fall short. This self-criticism only strengthens self-doubt. However, when we learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend, we create space for growth and self-acceptance. Self-compassion allows us to make mistakes without spiraling into negative self-judgment, and it helps us bounce back from setbacks with a renewed sense of purpose. Self-doubt is a natural, inevitable part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to be a roadblock to self-improvement. By embracing it as a signal of growth, taking action despite it, reframing it as a learning opportunity, surrounding ourselves with positive influences, avoiding unhealthy comparisons, and practicing self-compassion, we can turn self-doubt into a powerful force for progress. When we do so, we not only overcome doubt, but also unlock our true potential. One of the most transformative aspects of self-improvement is the ability to cultivate self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors objectively, to understand your motivations, and to be conscious of how you interact with the world around you. Without self-awareness, it's difficult to recognize areas for improvement or to understand the impact of your actions. It's through self-awareness that you gain clarity about who you truly are, what drives you, and where you want to go. It is a crucial foundation for lasting personal growth. The first step in cultivating self-awareness is the willingness to observe yourself without judgment. Often we go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without fully understanding why we react the way we do. Our emotions and thoughts can seem like uncontrollable forces, but by becoming more attuned to them, we can start to notice patterns and triggers. This awareness helps us recognize when we are being influenced by outside forces, whether they are societal pressures, past experiences, or temporary emotional states, and allows us to make more deliberate choices in how we respond. The key here is detachment instead of identifying with our emotions or thoughts. We learn to observe them as passing phenomena that don't define us. Self-awareness also involves understanding our strengths and weaknesses. Without this knowledge, we cannot make the adjustments necessary for growth. It's easy to be blind to our own flaws or to overestimate our abilities, but true self-awareness forces us to confront both our potential and our limitations. By acknowledging our weaknesses without shame, we can begin to work on improving them. Similarly, recognizing our strengths helps us leverage them to our advantage. Self-awareness gives us the ability to assess where we are in our journey honestly, and it enables us to create more realistic and attainable goals based on our current capabilities. Another critical aspect of self-awareness is understanding how our behavior affects others. We often go through life without fully considering the impact we have on the people around us. By becoming more self-aware, we start to recognize how our words and actions affect those we interact with. Are we being kind, considerate, and empathetic? Are we acting out of self-interest, or are we consciously engaging with others in a way that fosters positive relationships? Developing this awareness allows us to improve our communication and empathy, which in turn strengthens our connections and helps us build more meaningful relationships. Self-awareness also requires a deep level of honesty with ourselves. It's easy to deceive ourselves about our motivations, justifications, and desires, especially when they don't align with the version of ourselves we want to project. We might tell ourselves that we're acting for the right reasons when, in reality, our actions are driven by fear, insecurity, or ego. This dishonesty can keep us stuck in unhealthy patterns or prevent us from growing. To become truly self-aware, we must be willing to confront the uncomfortable truths about ourselves, the parts we would rather ignore or deny. This level of honesty opens the door to real change, as it allows us to see ourselves more clearly and, as a result, make better decisions. Mindfulness is one of the most effective practices for cultivating self-awareness. Through mindfulness, we learn to stay present in the moment and observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice helps us become more aware of our internal state and our habitual patterns. By taking a few moments each day to practice mindfulness, we can begin to notice subtle shifts in our thoughts and emotions that might otherwise go unnoticed. Over time, mindfulness helps us develop a greater understanding of our reactions and the factors that influence them. As we increase our awareness, we become more skilled at choosing how we respond to various situations instead of reacting impulsively or out of habit. Self-awareness also enables us to evaluate our goals and motivations. Are the goals we're pursuing truly our own, or are they influenced by external pressure, society, family, or friends? Often we chase achievements or pursue success without questioning why we want them in the first place. Self-awareness allows us to take a step back and ask ourselves whether our goals align with our values and passions. This alignment is crucial because it ensures that the efforts we put into self-improvement are purposeful and fulfilling. Without self-awareness, it's easy to pursue goals that lead to external validation but don't provide any real sense of satisfaction or meaning. One of the most profound benefits of self-awareness is that it gives us the ability to learn from our mistakes. When we are aware of our behaviors and the reasons behind them, we can look back at our failures or setbacks with a more objective perspective. Instead of simply feeling disappointed or frustrated, we can analyze what went wrong and how we can improve. Self-awareness fosters a growth mindset, allowing us to view challenges as opportunities for learning rather than as evidence of our inadequacy. By embracing this mindset, we become more resilient and open to continuous improvement. In summary, cultivating self-awareness is a critical element of personal growth. It allows us to see ourselves clearly, recognize our strengths and weaknesses, and understand how we impact the world around us. Through self-awareness, we gain the clarity and insight needed to make better decisions, build healthier relationships, and live more authentically. It's a practice that requires time, patience, and honesty, but the rewards are immeasurable. Self-awareness lays the foundation for lasting transformation and enables us to lead lives that are more intentional, purposeful, and aligned with our deepest values. One of the most significant and often overlooked aspects of self-improvement is the importance of embracing failure. In a culture that tends to celebrate success and achievement, failure is frequently viewed with shame or fear. Yet, failure is an essential part of growth and progress. It is through our failures that we learn the most, adapt, and ultimately build the resilience needed to achieve lasting success. Understanding this truth can shift our entire perspective on life, allowing us to approach challenges with courage and determination, knowing that failure is not something to avoid but something to embrace. The first step in embracing failure is changing our perception of it. Rather than seeing failure as a reflection of our inadequacies or as a definitive end to our efforts, we must start to view it as a learning opportunity. Each failure contains valuable lessons that can only be learned through experience. When we fail, we are forced to confront what went wrong, analyze our mistakes, and adjust our approach. This process of reflection is what leads to growth. Failure teaches us the limitations of our current knowledge and skills, and it provides the information we need to improve and refine our strategies. Without failure, we would never gain the insights that are necessary for true progress. Another crucial aspect of embracing failure is recognizing that it is often a necessary step towards success. The idea of overnight success is a myth. Most successful people have experienced multiple failures and setbacks before achieving their goals. What sets them apart is not their avoidance of failure, but their ability to persevere in the face of it. They understand that failure is simply a part of the journey, not a reason to give up. The road to success is rarely linear. It is filled with twists, turns, and detours that often lead us through periods of failure. These moments are not signs of defeat. They are the building blocks of eventual achievement. The key is to keep moving forward, to stay committed to the process, even when things don't go as planned. Resilience is a critical quality that failure helps develop. When we face setbacks and disappointments, it's easy to become discouraged or to question our abilities. However, it is through overcoming failure that we build mental toughness. Every time we fail and get back up, we become stronger, more capable of handling future challenges. Failure tests our resolve, but it also helps us develop the perseverance needed to continue pursuing our goals, even when the path seems difficult or uncertain. This resilience, built on the foundation of failure, is what enables us to keep going when things get tough and to bounce back from setbacks with renewed determination. Embracing failure also requires us to let go of the fear of judgment and criticism. Many people avoid taking risks or trying new things because they fear how others will perceive their failures. This fear can be paralyzing and can prevent us from pursuing our true potential. But the truth is that everyone fails and no one is exempt from experiencing disappointment or setbacks. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not the avoidance of failure, but the willingness to take risks and the courage to continue after a failure. When we let go of the fear of judgment and focus on the lessons we can learn from our failures, we free ourselves to take the risks necessary for growth and self-improvement. Failure also teaches us the importance of adaptability. Often failure occurs because our initial approach is flawed or insufficient. However, failure presents an opportunity to reassess, pivot, and try a different approach. It encourages us to be flexible and open to new ideas, techniques, and strategies. The ability to adapt and modify our approach based on the feedback we receive from failure is what separates those who remain stagnant from those who continue to progress. Failure forces us to think creatively and to find new solutions, which fosters innovation and growth. Furthermore, embracing failure can help us develop humility. When we fail, it's a reminder that we don't have all the answers and that there is always room for improvement. This humility allows us to approach challenges with an open mind and a willingness to learn. It also helps us connect with others, as we recognize that everyone, regardless of their success, has encountered failure at some point. Failure, in this sense, is not something that isolates us, but something that connects us as human beings. It is a shared experience that offers an opportunity for personal growth, empathy, and understanding. Finally, embracing failure requires a mindset shift. It involves letting go of the belief that failure is something to be avoided at all costs, and instead adopting the understanding that it is an essential and inevitable part of the journey towards success. Failure is not something to be feared, but something to be used as a tool for growth and improvement. By reframing our relationship with failure, we become more resilient, adaptable, and willing to take risks. We free ourselves from the constraints of perfectionism and allow ourselves to grow in ways that would not be possible if we feared failure. This shift in mindset is one of the most powerful and transformative aspects of self-improvement, as it empowers us to approach challenges with courage, optimism, and determination. In embracing failure, we unlock the true potential for growth and achievement. It is not in our successes that we learn the most, but in our failures. The lessons learned from failure lay the groundwork for future success, and those who understand this truth are the ones who continue to evolve, adapt, and thrive in the face of adversity. In conclusion, the real secret to self-improvement lies not in the pursuit of perfection, nor in avoiding the discomforts of life, but in embracing the very challenges that shape our growth. It is through self-awareness that we gain clarity and insight, allowing us to align our actions with our deepest values. By stepping outside of our comfort zones, we confront the doubts that hold us back, transforming them into powerful tools for growth. Embracing failure, rather than fearing it, provides us with the resilience and adaptability needed to succeed in an ever-changing world. The pursuit of meaning, rather than fleeting happiness, guides us to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Ultimately, self-improvement is a continuous process of reflection, action, and adaptation rooted in a willingness to learn, to face discomfort, and to keep pushing forward despite setbacks. When we embrace these principles, we not only improve ourselves, but also contribute to the betterment of the world around us. It is through this commitment to growth, no matter how challenging, that we unlock our full potential and live lives of true purpose and fulfillment.